Inside a quiet diner, a loud man slammed his hand on the counter, yelling at an elderly black woman for spilling his coffee. When she calmly apologized, he slapped her across the face. The entire diner froze. She didn't fight back, just whispered, "You don't know who my son is?" 10 minutes later, a convoy of black cars stopped outside. Every customer watched as men in suits surrounded the place, and the man who raised his hand realized he'd just struck the mother of the most feared man in the city. The morning crowd at Jackson's diner buzzed with small talk and clinking silverware. Waitresses moved between booths, refilling coffee cups, the smell of pancakes and bacon filling the air. It was the kind of place where regulars came every morning, where faces were familiar and kindness was routine. Until that day, at a corner booth sat Mrs. Helen Carter, an elderly woman with soft hands and quiet eyes. She came every Sunday for the same reason: coffee, peace, and a slice of pie before church. She greeted everyone with a smile, including the new face at the counter. His name was Eric Dalton, a corporate attorney with a loud voice and a louder ego. He didn't belong to the neighborhood, and he made sure everyone knew it. When the waitress took too long to bring his order, he snapped his fingers. When she apologized, he sneered. Then Helen accidentally brushed his arm while walking past with a tray. A cup tipped, hot coffee spilled across his sleeve. The diner went silent. Eric jumped to his feet, shouting, "Do you even watch where you're going?" Helen gasped, "Oh, sir, I'm so—" The sound of the slap cracked through the diner. Everyone froze. The waitress dropped her notepad. An old man in the next booth muttered, "Good Lord." Helen's cheek burned red. Her eyes filled, but she didn't cry. She straightened her back, steady as stone, and whispered, "You don't know who my son is?" Eric laughed coldly. "Let me guess. Your son's a pastor, a janitor. Don't threaten me, lady." He tossed a few bills on the counter and muttered, "Pathetic." But the waitress, Maya, had already pulled out her phone. "You just hit her," she said, shaking. "I'm calling the police?" Eric smirked. "Do it. I'll have them fired before they even arrive." He left the diner smirking, not realizing that half the customers had filmed the assault. Within minutes, the video hit social media. Diner slap. Helen sat still, quietly, sipping her coffee as if nothing had happened. Maya whispered, "Are you okay, Mrs. Carter?" Helen smiled faintly. "I'm fine, dear. My son will handle it." An hour later, the rumble of engines filled the street. 5 black sedans stopped in front of Jackson's diner. Men in suits stepped out, silent and deliberate. Every window in the diner fogged with curiosity. Eric, sitting in his car across the street, laughed when he saw them. "Great, the neighborhood parade," he muttered until he noticed the license plates. They weren't local. The door swung open. The men entered, filling the room with presents. In the middle of them walked Vincent Carter, Helen's son, the quiet man whose name whispered power in every corner of the city. He kissed his mother's forehead, then turned to the diner staff. "Who touched her?" Maya pointed outside. "Hez still here." Vincent's gaze shifted through the window. His tone never rose. "Bring him in." 2 men stepped out, calm and precise. Eric's car door yanked open. "What the who are you people?" No answer. Within seconds, he was inside the diner, seated at a booth across from Helen. His arrogance dissolving, Vincent sat beside his mother, his expression unreadable. "You slapped her," he said quietly, in front of witnesses. Eric stammered, "It was an accident. I didn't mean." Vincent leaned forward. "You didn't mean it." His voice was soft but sharp. "You hit my mother and then laughed about it." Eric looked around the room. No sympathy, no escape. Vincent glanced at the waitress. "Delete every video." Maya hesitated. "Sir." "It's everywhere now." Vincent nodded. "Good." He turned back to Eric. "So the city knows what kind of man you are." Eric swallowed hard. "Please, I'm sorry, I didn't know." "That's the point," Vincent said. "You didn't know who she was, and you didn't care." Helen touched her son's hand gently. "Vincent," she said softly. "No violence?" "Not today." Vincent nodded slowly. His eyes stayed locked on Eric. "You're lucky she still believes in mercy." He signaled one of his men, who handed Eric a folder. Inside were photos. Eric at charity events, campaign dinners, law awards, then newspaper clippings, corporate fraud allegations, money laundering inquiry. Eric froze. "How did you?" Vincent stood. "Your past is loud, Mr. Dalton. And now so is your future." That evening, the news exploded again, not with the diner video, but with evidence of years of corruption. By nightfall, Eric Dalton's firm dropped him. By morning, he was disbarred. Helen never said a word publicly. When reporters asked, she smiled and said, "I forgave him before I left the diner. My son just reminded him what consequences look like." In the weeks that followed, her words echoed across the city. Politicians quoted her. Schools played her interview in classrooms. She never sought fame, but her grace became a headline. The mayor visited Jackson's diner personally to present her with a framed letter of recognition. She accepted it with the same calm that had silenced the bully. Her son Vincent rebuilt the diner, paid every employee double, and funded a legal defense program for victims of public harassment. He told no one his name was on the donations. On Sunday mornings, Helen still sat at the same booth, the one where the world changed. Sometimes strangers thanked her quietly, sometimes they just smiled. But the city never forgot the woman who taught them that true justice doesn't shout. It simply arrives when cruelty raised its hand. Dignity answered in silence. Some people learn respect through words, others only through consequence. If this story hit you deep, like this video and share it everywhere. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from and what moment made your heart stop.